Hello, my love. So we are going through day 12 of the workbook that is 30 Days with Your Spirit Guides. So if you love all things spirit guides, or maybe kind of you feel like you're starting to feel close to wanting a relationship with your spirit team, this is for you. All the days are for you, but this one's a good one. Anger is not disconnection. I do not know how many times I have heard women especially say, well, I have so much anger in me. I have so much that I'm trying to forgive others for, and that's why God doesn't love me. That's why I'm not being able, that's why I can't hear my spirit guides. No, my love, that's not the reason. We've been taught that anger is disconnection, like anger is bad. And I talk about this in another video yesterday. But anger doesn't push spirit away. It doesn't push your intuition away. It doesn't push your higher self away, because your higher self and your guides are still communicating to you through the lens of your perfection. And your perfection means your unconditional love, because you are being perceived through the lens of unconditional love. And if spirit were to go, nah, Kels, nah, Trude, you've been too pissy today, you've been too angry, or you shouldn't have that feeling towards that person who hurt you, or whatever, then that's coming from conditions. That's coming from conditional love. It's coming from ego, essentially. Rather than, okay, anger is emotion, it's guidance, it's feedback. So let's understand it. Because how can we alchemize it? How can we then use it to actually support us, rather than push what we want further away? Because ultimately we want to feel empowered, right? And the thing with anger is it lands you so deeply in your body and so deeply in your sense of authority and autonomy. It's why we suppress it, because it's overwhelming. We don't know how to handle that emotion. For some of us, it's fucking easier to hide away, to suppress, to depress ourselves, because we have been told, oh, that's who you should be. And that's why I always say, when you begin to actually give yourself permission to be angry, it's incredibly healing. Right? And then you're able to move through those emotions, right? So it doesn't push spirit away. If anything, I have found when I gave myself permission to feel my anger, it brought me closer to them, because I was able to actually understand what was at the root, what was at the core of me. And often it was a voice that felt discarded. It was a sense of autonomy that felt like that was being taken advantage of. And so my anger was like the voice going, I am no longer willing to be taken advantage of. I want to be the one that owns what comes through me, what comes out of my mouth, the way in which I experience my life, how I respond. And so anger is often that first step to kind of clearing away all of the debris, all of the shoulds, the woulds, the couldas that have been clouding our judgment of self and who we get to be, right? So you don't need to be calm, polite, and this might piss off a few people, grateful to stay connected, right? All too often, I find that women are practicing gratitude or practicing happy thoughts or practicing love and light purely because they are scared. They are scared shitless to actually bear witness, to feel what is underneath all of that. Because once they bear witness to it, it's like having to admit, oh, I didn't feel in control. I didn't feel powerful. And we assume that taking responsibility for ourselves, allowing ourselves to feel the full spectrum of emotion that we have available to us for connection is like going, you fucked up. The reason this happened to you is because you attracted it or manifested it, which is such a poisonous rhetoric. It's poisonous. And that's why, understandably, we do have women and men that go around going, I'm going to be as happy as I can be today. Not that it's bad to practice happiness, but ask yourself, am I really practicing happiness, fulfillment, autonomy, joy from fear, escapism, or because actually I am so deserving of being in this moment of curiosity, of joy, of peace, right? Also, and I love this when this came through, and it's written here on day 12. Your guides can hold you through rage, through grief, through the kind of despair where you don't want to hear anything hopeful from anyone. They're not afraid of your fire. They're not going to leave because you're difficult right now. Because here's the thing, you're not difficult. You're assuming it's difficult. You're assuming you're difficult because you've been told, oh, you're too much, right? I have never felt so loved, so comforted, so supported as when and I'm remembering right now a very specific moment where I was so frustrated and angry, and I'd finally got to a place where I was okay with expressing it behind closed doors, right? And I was asking my guide Sunny to tell me what to do. But I was asking him to tell me what to do because it got to a point where I was like, oh, just get me out of this feeling. I don't like this feeling. This is horrible, because I was assuming that I couldn't come back from it. And I didn't like the feeling of being out of control. And he said, take a nap. I'm like, again, why is it you always tell me to take a nap? When things get really difficult, you tell me to take a nap. But I gave in. And I went to close my eyes. And as soon as I closed my eyes, I saw Mary Magdalene. And I was walking through this cave. And I met her. And she asked me just to rest my head on her lap. And she just stroked my hair. And the tears just poured from my face. Because in that moment, I felt like I was being mothered. I felt like I was being nurtured. And what came through in that moment was, I don't let myself feel the ferocity of my anger, my feelings of injustice and inadequacy, because I assumed that I won't be loved, that people won't want to care about me or for me anymore, that they'll avoid me. But here I was, being attended to in the most attentive way. And sometimes, a lot of the time actually, giving yourself permission to feel your anger is your inner child, your higher self going, you are unconditionally loved. So one-to-one spots are open for this work. If you want to go even deeper, if you want to feel the gifts of your soul and understand them, 8 weeks are available, and I'm also doing a 5-day spirit team intensive. Okay, if you have questions, feel free to DM me. Lots of love.